The iPhone 15 Pro Max is now halfway through its life cycle, and I've been using my iPhone 15 Pro Max as my main phone. So I want to talk about how it's been over these past 6 months and talk about how well it's held up with its new titanium frame, talk about some of the camera features I like and some of the camera features I think need improvements on, and how the battery life has ultimately been on my Pro Max, and most importantly, is the iPhone 15 Pro Max still worth it after 6 months of using it, or should you just wait and buy an iPhone 16 Pro? Now, one problem I had with my iPhone 15 Pro is I needed a new charger when traveling, and if you're in the Apple ecosystem like me, you need a travel-friendly way to charge your iPhone, your Apple Watch, and of course your AirPods. Thankfully, our friends at Anker have the all-in-one solution with their new Anker Mago wireless charging station, foldable 3-in-1. First of all, this has to be the coolest, most ingenious portable charger ever on the market because look at this, it has a full-speed 15-watt MagSafe charger, which is 2 times faster than the normal 7.5 wireless chargers you can get, and just as fast as Apple's official MagSafe charger, and then it folds open to reveal another 5-watt wireless charging pad where you can place your AirPods on, and then on the bottom, you can flip out another Apple Watch fast charging puck for full Apple Watch charging speeds that can charge an Apple Watch Series 9 to 47% in just 30 minutes. And just like that, this small charger that weighs about the same as an iPhone 15 Plus and is as compact as Apple's Magic Mouse can charge your iPhone 15, a pair of AirPods, and your Apple Watch all with a single cable connection for a really neat setup. So to get the ultimate 3-in-1 portable charger, check out the link in the description below to learn more about Anker Mago, and thank you to Anker for keeping my devices charged and for sponsoring this video. Okay, so one of the biggest design anticipations for me for the iPhone 15 Pro was the new titanium frame, and honestly, this has to be a big feature because Apple literally uses it as the tagline in their advertising. Personally, I really wanted a lighter weight body for my iPhone, but I still wanted something that felt premium, and most importantly, I wanted something that was still durable. But with the launch craze of the iPhone 15 Pro, there were a lot of clickbait videos coming out bashing the titanium frame as a weakness. Now, this criticism came in 2 separate areas. One was durability, where a viral video by Jerry Rig Everything showed the iPhone 15 Pro Max back glass shattering when he did a bend test. These tests I always take with a big grain of salt because there's way too many variables and factors that can go into a phone's durability, and any of his previous tests could have weakened the frame of that phone. And for me, the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I feel like for a lot of people, has held up really well. There's no cracks on my display, either the front or back, and the titanium sides are pretty much, or I guess completely scratch-free. I'm just looking at it now, and yeah, I don't think there's any scratches on the titanium frame, which is not something I can say for the stainless steel frames on previous iPhones. Those always got little scratches on them by the time I was done using them, and definitely within a 6-month use period. So this phone still looks like it did on day one, minus the dust in the camera lens and some little smudges on the sides, right? The other controversy was reports of users' iPhones overheating, and some users thought that maybe this was due to the new titanium material being used on the 15 Pro, but that wasn't exactly the case because the overheating during the initial launch was due to a software bug that Apple has already fixed, so that again did not turn out to be anything wrong with the titanium. So the titanium frame overall has been a huge quality of life upgrade to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. It feels so much better in the hands, it is less slippery, way more comfortable, and way lighter than the iPhone 15 Pro Max, or at least it feels that way. And ultimately, I think it looks more premium than even the stainless steel body. The way this thing looks when like the light hits it, it looks so beautiful. Like this is like one of the most beautiful pieces of technology that I have ever used, and it looks and feels precision engineered. And even after 6 months, I still pick up this phone, and every time I'm delighted. Like I'm just like, this is such a good looking and good feeling phone, and you can't say that for everything. So I'm really happy with this phone's design. I really don't know how they make this design better going forward. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with future iPhone revisions. And I think this design is pretty popular because I've seen that the S24 Ultra is also adopting titanium in the frame, and the Pixel 9 Pro just kind of had some leaks, and it looks like they're kind of going for a similar look. So it looks like Apple's kind of leading the industry again. Now, one thing I'm always questioning with the iPhone 15 Pro Max is if it's too large. Now, in previous years, the heavy stainless steel of the iPhone 14 Pro Max always felt way too dense and way too heavy. And I can finally say, I do not feel that with my 15 Pro Max. However, I still don't like the bigger size. I think ultimately I would like a smaller phone. The big issue I have with the size of the 15 Pro Max is when I have to put it in my pocket. If I'm wearing pants that are a little loose fitting or don't have deep pockets, there's been a few times where my 15 Pro Max has slid out of my pants when I sit down. Thankfully, not onto any hard surfaces or anything like that. But yeah, it falls in the couch or something like that. So, the size of this is still not ideal, but I am happy to make the sacrifice in this size for the better battery life on the Pro Max models. I have been really happy with the battery performance on my 15 Pro Max. On most days, I am able to get a full day's worth of battery life with about 20% to spare by the time I'm putting it on the charger, and that's after heavy usage. And my battery health after 6 months is still at 100%. In terms of general use, the iPhone 15 Pro hasn't really changed the game, right? There's not anything super new that's revolutionary from the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Like even things like the action button, while they're a good idea in concept, just really haven't panned out for me as something that I remember to use. I always have to remind myself that it's actually a feature on my iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I forget about it a lot of the times, even though I map the camera button to it. So a lot of the times I open up my phone and, I'll go over here and open up the camera this way, but I always forget I could just hold this down and open the camera. So I feel like after 6 months, it probably should have grown on me as something that I should be using frequently, but I don't know, I can't wipe the muscle memory out of my head that this is a mute switch and nothing else. So maybe that's just because I'm old and I don't know how technology works anymore. Probably not. It's probably just that the action button, maybe it's too high on the 15 Pro Max too. It's a little too high. Other than that though, there's things that have improved on the phone, but most features feel the same, right? Like the screen technology is very similar to the 14 Pro Max. The performance generally feels about the same as the 14 Pro Max too, even though it has the new A17 chip, at least for day-to-day use. Apple has added some new software features. One of the ones I've been using more recently is the Journal app, which I've been trying to kind of use every night. And I really like this streamlined approach to the Journal app. The interface feels more like your own personal Instagram or Twitter feed rather than a traditional journal. And I think that's really smart. And Apple's suggestions for writing prompts or automatically selecting photos for you to go through or just automatically creating little mini events in your journal entries just make it an overall easier habit to kind of pick up and start using. I'm personally trying to focus a lot on wellness this year, and mental health is a big part of that. I can't say if journaling has made a huge impact on me yet, since I've really only been doing it for the past month, but it's been fun to record entries at the end of the night and take further time to reflect on my day, time I've spent with other people, and just my progress on certain goals that I've been trying to better day to day. Now, while the A17 might seem like business as usual, Apple's kind of giving us insane smartphone processing power. The benchmarks are off the charts, but users really don't take full advantage of it. But there is something that has completely changed for me with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and it's where I'm actually starting to see the benefits of Apple shipping these ridiculously powerful chips inside of a smartphone. And that is with gaming. I've been gaming more on my iPhone 15 Pro Max than I have with any other iPhone. And that's because of Apple's slow, and I mean slow, push into AAA level console games onto this device. And after 6 months, we have finally seen a few of these titles actually launch on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. The titles I'm most interested in were Resident Evil Village and the more recently released Resident Evil 4 Remake. I am a huge Resident Evil fan, so when I saw that these graphically demanding games were coming to the iPhone, I was really excited. If you don't believe I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, I literally got Resident Evil candy, Umbrella Corporation candy. If you're a Resident Evil fan, you know what that is. So when I saw that these graphically demanding games were coming to the iPhone, as a fan of the games, I was really excited. I spent some time playing these titles, and what I'll say is the experience is pretty good. The fact that these titles can run on the iPhone at all is a testament to the insane hardware that Apple has in these devices. There's a reason why these games probably aren't launching on Android, right? But there are some drawbacks. First of all, to really enjoy these titles that are meant for console and PC gaming, you need some kind of controller accessory. Yes, you can play this game with the touchscreen, but it's a bad experience. Just listen to me. There's way too many virtual buttons. I tried it out. It was frustrating as heck, and like I was dying every single second. I use this backbone controller for my iPhone, which just plugs into the USB-C port, and it legitimately turns your iPhone into a full mobile console gaming experience. And once you solve the controller issue, these games are just so much fun to play, and it's still amazing to me that I'm able to take a game I literally played on my PlayStation 5, a giant console, just a few months ago, and I'm getting a very similar experience on my iPhone. Granted, the graphics aren't as good as they are on the PS5 version, and you can really see the over-sharpening in Leon's hair, but again, this is an iPhone, and I am more than willing to forgive this. And it makes me excited for the future of the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 17 Pro. Those are going to get even more powerful than what this already is, so I think this is just the start of what could be a huge shift for the mobile gaming industry. The other big change that really impacted the way that I use my iPhone 15 Pro compared to previous years is USB-C. So just about every device I own, except strangely enough, the accessories for my Mac at this point, charge via USB-C. So when I travel or go out for the day, the only thing I really need to bring is a small charging brick and a USB-C cable to charge any of my devices. And while that's a nice benefit, the real benefit of USB-C, for me at least, isn't really the charging, it's the faster data transfer rates you can get on the iPhone 15 Pro. You can now get 10 gigabit per second transfer speeds through the USB-C port. And this USB-C port now also supports external drives. So this goes in part kind of with the iPhone camera system, but I have been using my iPhone a lot for recording videos now. And the new ProRes log footage looks absolutely fantastic. But one big issue I have had with previous iPhones was the slow data transfer rate over Lightning. I would never transfer these large video files over Lightning. But now that I have USB-C, it's so quick and so fast to just take the video footage directly off my iPhone, even with these large file sizes, and then import them into editing applications like Final Cut Pro. The only issue I kind of noticed with this method though, is that when I load my footage into Final Cut, it does kind of load like every video I shot on my iPhone, and after 6 months of dealing with this process now, it's a little annoying. Like I feel like it would be nice if Apple added a feature or a setting change that only showed you recent videos that you haven't imported yet. I would really appreciate that. But yeah, overall, I'm glad that I can actually import these videos now. The other thing that I use the USB-C port for is external storage. After 6 months of shooting on a 512 gigabyte iPhone 15 Pro Max, my storage is already full. Like if I go to try and shoot ProRes video directly on my iPhone, I always get the warning that storage space needs to be freed up before I can record any more video. So normally I just try and shoot directly onto an external SSD drive at this point. But honestly, it can be a little bit annoying sometimes when you're recording and you have a drive dangling out of the USB-C port. So, I'm thinking in future for the iPhone 16 Pro, I might actually shift over to the 1 terabyte model because I'm really surprised just how quick a 512 gigabyte iPhone has filled up with shooting ProRes video. Now, overall, the camera system continues to be the best overall camera system I have used, and still photography is really good on this. And I've been really surprised with how good the default 24 megapixel pictures look. It is a great combination of not only resolution, but also the onboard computational photography processing that Apple packs into this camera. And basically, it's giving you a really good default resolution out of the gate, but then also giving you a lot of good colors and a lot of good highlight detail and shadow detail and HDR processing. And a lot of the photos I've taken on this device just look so good without any editing. And it's something I haven't seen recent Android flagships do. I used the Pixel 8 Pro, the S24 Ultra just came out, or is about to come out, and I believe those phones are still binning the photos down to 12 megapixels on the default shooting mode. That's the mode that most people use, so I really do like the combination that Apple has here for the iPhone 15 Pro. And also the iPhone 15 has that 24 megapixel mode too, so that's really good. Now the new 5x lens continues to be a welcome addition to the 15 Pro Max. I really love the new perspectives and focal lengths it has allowed me to capture with my smartphone photography. And I'm getting interesting photos on my iPhone that just weren't possible before. And of course, you can also zoom in on something that's farther away, which is also nice when you can't get too close to your subject. However, after using the 5x lens for the past 6 months, I really think there are some areas for improvement. and that has to do with the default resolution. This is still a 12 megapixel sensor, so when you digital zoom or crop past the 5x lens, it starts to lose detail really fast, and if you're not in ideal lighting situations, it doesn't look all that great. Other flagship smartphones like the S24 Ultra and the Pixel 8 Pro, I just bashed on them before, now I'm gonna praise them, have higher 50 megapixel resolution sensors on their 5x lens, which is similar to the 48 megapixel main wide-angle lens on the iPhone that I was just praising. So that means when you are digitally zooming on a 5x shot with those phones, you get even more detail and more resolution, so you can actually crop in past 5x and get a more usable shot. So this is something I would like to see improved on future iPhone models. Still, in terms of overall picture quality and video quality, I have yet to find another phone that matches the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And if you value both photos and videos, you definitely have to take a look at getting the 15 Pro Max, because that ProRes video really elevates this smartphone to really make your footage not look exactly like smartphone footage. Like, you lose all of that extra sharpening and processing when you're using ProRes video, and it just looks so, so good. And it's just more flexible footage to work with if you know how to edit it, and you could do some really amazing things with the 15 Pro's camera system. Just make sure you get an external SSD, or honestly, enough internal storage to shoot these ProRes videos. Don't make the same mistake I did if you shoot a lot of video. All right, so is the iPhone 15 Pro Max still worth it after 6 months of use? Well, listen, this has been one of my favorite iPhone experiences to date, and a lot of my complaints about the iPhone 14 Pro Max and previous iPhones were solved with this phone. Obviously, any future iPhone 16 Pro or whatever is gonna have more features if you wait, but I really still think this is a good time to upgrade if you are interested in the iPhone 15 Pro Max. After 6 months, it is still a really good phone, and honestly, 6 months to wait for a new phone is still a pretty long time. So if you need a new phone with good build quality, battery life, performance, and a stellar camera system, you are going to love the 15 Pro Max. All right, let me know. What do you think of the iPhone 15 Pro Max in the comments below? Do you agree with me that it is one of the best iPhone experiences ever? Do you like the new titanium frame? Do you like the camera system? I wanna hear it in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you give me a like. If you wanna see more from the channel, make sure you're subscribed. It's gonna be a very exciting 2024. And as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all, hopefully not in the next 6 months, but hopefully I will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.